we'll move on to the OnlyFans list now. Again, the point behind the OnlyFans list is these guys are your league winners. These guys are hey, they don't cost a ton, but they're going to win you your league. And I just want to do a couple honorable mentions just because these guys are, I guess, higher ranked players and they don't really qualify for OnlyFans because they just, they're ranked too high to be an OnlyFans player. But I want to do a couple honorable mentions just so that you know who to target in terms of running back. So I love Kenneth Walker this year. Achin and best ball for sure. Best ball for sure. Love Walker. In on Jacobs for that price. I don't think that's a bad price. Love James Cook. I think James Cook is the top 10 running back. No question about it. No question about it. And then give me some Najee Harris. Give me some Najee Harris. I'd never had Najee Harris on my fantasy team. I was anti him on the draft. I didn't think he should have been a first round pick. But give me some Najee Harris, because doesn't this sort of remind you of when Josh Jacobs got his 5th-year option declined and then he had a really strong season and then they didn't know what to do? I think if there's any time to own Najee Harris, it's this year. They declined his 5th-year option. He should be motivated. Jalen Warren injured his hamstring. I think Arthur Smith will help in the run game. It's the Steelers. They want to run the ball anyway. And once again, this is their last year of control with Najee Harris. What Tomlin has done in the past is he just runs guys into the ground. I think Harris is going to get a ton of work this year. So Harris would be a fan, but RB20, it's a little high to be an OnlyFans. And then give me some Aaron Jones. Give me some Aaron Jones. Give me some Aaron Jones. I mean, Aaron Jones is still a good football player. I don't know why we pretend otherwise, but Aaron Jones is still a good football player. So give me some Aaron Jones. I think he'll be successful in Minnesota. They got to get the ball to somebody, right? And Kevin O'Connell, as I just talked about in the Bijan Robinson section, Kevin O'Connell loves to air that puppy out. He loves to air it out. So I think Aaron Jones, who does a ton of work, Aaron Jones is a receiving back. He does a ton of work in the receiving game. I think Aaron Jones, he'll get you. He'll get you as long as he's healthy. If he's healthy, I think he should be more than fine in terms of RB. What's he going? RB24. I'm fine with that price tag. I'm totally fine with that price tag. All right, so those are kind of the honorable mentions for who I like. Let's do the actual list now. First up on the list is Jordan Mason. Give me some Jordan Mason. Absolutely. If I'm looking for a handcuff running back, I don't care if I own McCaffrey or not. If I own McCaffrey or not, I want Jordan Mason. Because what are the odds McCaffrey stays totally healthy? We'll pull his thing up. He's, by the way, talking about a guy dealing with a calf injury. But last year, played 16 games. But it hasn't really been the case. I just need him to miss 4 games. If I'm a Jordan Mason owner, I just need him to miss 4 games and I get my money's worth. Because there's no question about it. He's the second best running back in the 49ers right now. Elijah Mitchell, he's a bum. Isaac Guerrero, he stinks. That's going to be another wasted draft pick. This is the guy. And by the way, I talked about how Travis Etienne, he averages 3.8 a carry. Every time they give the ball to Jordan Mason, he does well. Very well. And again, I think people forget about this. But once upon a time, Jordan Mason was the starting running back at Georgia Tech. Jahmyr Gibbs transferred because he wasn't seeing time over Jordan Mason. Now, the gap between Jahmyr Gibbs and Jordan Mason in public perception is like this. It's really more like this. This is a good football player. And somebody needs to just give this fucking guy some respect because he's really good. And if McCaffrey misses any time, he's a top 10 running back. So if McCaffrey misses any time, you're going to want it. you're going to want him. We can keep things moving because that's kind of self-explanatory. Next is another handcuff backup running back situation. I love Eric Gray, or I should say I really like Eric Gray. Maybe love's a strong word here. Not a ton as a rookie. But this happens. Like, I don't know why this is. Again, this goes back to the Jonathan Brooks conversation and goes back to the Bijan Robinson situation. Like, these are rookies. This thing takes time, like these rookies aren't just going to fucking step in and be heroes. Like Zeke Elliott did for the Cowboys, but not every rookie running back comes in and dominates. Tyrone Tracy got hurt. He's going to miss multiple weeks. And the only back in the Giants is Devin Singletary, who I guess they like. Look, I guess he's fine, right? He's a mediocre running back. But somebody else on the Giants is going to get carries. And I think Eric Gray could very easily step into that role. If we just go to what he's done in the preseason, he's looked really good in the preseason. It looks like, there you go. And they've kind of like not given him touches because he's looked so good. Like they said, 7 carries. Okay, we've seen enough. We're going to use him this year. He's going to have a role. 7 carries, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns in preseason. He's going to have a role. So I would sign up for some Eric Gray stock. I really would. I would sign up for some Eric Gray stock. Like, he's free. He's not being like touched anywhere. You can, if you want Eric Gray, you can have him. So, and really, one injury to Singletary and he's the guy. like one injury to Singletary and he's the guy. So that would be something to keep in mind, really. Next, let's go to little Bucky Irving action. Hey, he's looked really good this preseason. And as I said in the Rachaad White section for the cheese list, if you haven't seen that video, please make sure to do so. But look, man, looked very good in the preseason. If you go to his college numbers, those are also very good. And by the way, this was my number 1 running back coming out of the draft. Like, I don't give a shit what anybody says. This was my number 1 rated running back coming out of the draft. 6.3 yards per carry last year at Oregon. The year before, he was 6.8. He gets a ton of work in the receiving game. He caught 56 balls last year. I think he could very easily be better than Rachaad White right now. Like, and by the way, they're just fucking blowing him. Like, I haven't seen this kind of hype in a while. But like, man, it don't matter what you look at. Like, if you read any of the Bucks.com stuff, they've been killing it. Like, he's been absolutely killing it. And as I said a little bit ago, it's rookies. These things take time. We all understand that. But man, boy, oh boy, like, if you go to the Bucks.com stuff, like, he's all over their training camp reports constantly. Their offensive coordinator, by the way, he has a relationship with Stein at Oregon. It's a big reason why they drafted him. I think they really like Bucky Irving. And by the way, he's in an advanced stage. Like, this is a guy, he's gotten plenty of work. This isn't a rookie that should be overwhelmed. This should be a rookie that's ready to contribute and maybe even good enough to steal this backfield by week 8. I don't think that's crazy. Next on the list. This is maybe a part 1 or part 2 kind of situation. Somebody's going to score fantasy points for the Cowboys. Now, those first couple guys, Bucky and Eric Gray and, those type of guys, they're free. Zeke Elliott isn't free, but he's kind of free. He's 39 on Fantasy Pros ranked. He is, wow, we're going deep. He's 38 on Yahoo. ESPN, he's 35, and then NBC, he's 36. So look, he's gonna start for at least week 1. He's gonna start. He's got no competition. So last year he was with New England, but New England sucks. And he actually did some damage in the passing game, which should get back to normal. Tony Pollard is no longer in Dallas. Like, somebody has to score fantasy points for the Cowboys. Somebody has to. I don't see why he can't be around 200 carries again. And yes, he's declining. He's getting old. But this should be almost a last dance season for Zeke. Like, he should have one more good fantasy year in him. And then, really, this is all about throwing dart throws on Dallas. Like, sign up for a little Rico Dowdle. Sign up for a little Rico Dowdle. Maybe Rico Dowdle's the guy that emerges in his backfield. But somebody scoring fantasy points for the Cowboys. That's all I know. Maybe it'll be Deuce Vaughn. Maybe it'll be Deuce Vaughn, who I probably wouldn't bring up if he was the running back for the Ravens right now. Like, if Deuce Vaughn played for the Ravens, no reason to even bring him up. But somebody's going to have to score fantasy points for the Cowboys. Maybe it's Zeke. Maybe it's Dowdle. Maybe it's Vaughn. But you can have all of them for pennies. With the lone exception of Zeke. Like, Zeke, you have to maybe spend $5 for if you're in an auction. Or, I don't know. What does that translate to in a snake draft? Not very high, right? He's not very high. And Dowdle's a few spots lower. Dowdle's like RB 42 on 42 on Fantasy Pros, 42 on Yahoo. Dowdle he's number 49 on ESPN, and on Matthew Berry he is 40. So cheap, very cheap. Why not get a piece of the Dallas backfield? Like, why not get a piece of the Dallas backfield? I think that would be really advantageous. Somebody's going to pick up fantasy points. Whoever it is, whoever does turn into the guy that you want, will outscore where he's being ranked. So take a couple shots in the Dallas backfield because somebody has to score. All right, next on the list, Gus Edwards. Guy's just really good. And this really speaks for itself. Last year was his least efficient year, but man, he got a ton of fucking work. And if we go to fantasy finishes, last year, where did he finish? Last year finished as RB 14. And he missed one game. And he had 1.5 points in another game. I just don't really know why that can't continue. Like, if you just look to where he's being ranked, Gus Edwards is 31 on Yahoo. He is 36. Wow, that's crazy to me. On ESPN, he is 38. Whoa. And then NBC, he is 37. Wow. See, that's nuts to me. That's crazy. So let me get this straight. Let's go back to Edwards. Let's get this straight. Yeah, 175 fantasy points last year. And he didn't get a ton of work in the receiving game, but he had 180 yards, so it's not like he can't do it. I love the bus, man. And he's a touchdown hog. So let me get this straight. The entire fantasy community is complaining that they don't like Justin Herbert because, well, Jim Harbaugh is the new head coach and Greg Roman's the new coordinator. And again, this is what they say. Oh, we can't take Herbert because they're going to run the ball like crazy. But they don't like Gus Edwards either. How's that possible? How can the entire fantasy community, and I'm in on Herbert, by the way, this year in fantasy, because he's being ranked criminally low. So what the fantasy community is telling you is, we don't like Herbert. We don't like Herbert because, well, why would we like Herbert? This is Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman. They're going to run the ball. But then we don't have Edwards ranked higher. He's going to be the starter. And Dobbins has had, maybe even if you have Edwards, probably take Dobbins too, just in case. But Dobbins has been hurt so many times to where, I don't know, do you trust him? He's going to outscore where he's being ranked. Like, he's being ranked criminally low. So if you're going down that 0 RB path, and fuck, sign me up for Gus Edwards, who, by the way, the Chargers are going to be playing with a lead far more often. I don't see why he can't. I don't see why he can't do this with the Chargers. And by the way, we're talking about a back who's been very efficient his entire career, and the lone time where he had 4.1, which is still decent, he had 198 carries. I don't really understand it. I don't really understand it. So sign me up for all of the Gus Edwards stock. All right. Next up on the list is Tyjae Spears. I'm a little less confident about this Tyjae Spears pick. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little less confident about it. But if you just go to, hey, Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, I would pick Spears. And that goes back to the Chinese farmer. Maybe Pollard's the guy you want. I would take my shot with Spears. I would take my shot with Spears. Really good, 4.5. I just think, hey, let's go with the younger player if we're picking one, right? We want to get this right. Let's go with the younger player. Let's go with the guy that didn't fall off the face of the earth in terms of efficiency. Let's go with the guy that is moving in the right direction. Spears, we were a big fan of coming out of Tulane in college. This number should go way up. He no longer has to deal with Derrick Henry. The receiving numbers speak for themselves. I think it could be a split backfield. I think Spears could take over down the stretch. Pollard, he still hasn't proved that he's the same coming off that bad leg injury that he had a couple years ago. This one is the one that I'm like, I don't really know, man. Like, but if you go to any fantasy ranking, so we'll do that. Fantasy pros, look, 34 on Spears, 27 on Pollard. Go to Yahoo, Pollard 28, Spears 30. Ooh, that one's kind of close. That one is actually kind of close. Wow, ESPN has Spears higher. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. And then NBC, Pollard, Spears. Okay, so they're actually kind of close. It seems like Spears is going to be ranked a little bit lower depending on which one you use. I would take my shot here. Like, the goal is to win your league. I think Spears gives you the best chance to do so. The offensive line should be better. They bring in Callahan, who his dad, Callahan, the offensive line coach, should take care of that issue, which was awful last year. Awful. If the offensive line is just simply better, Spears should go up. And should be more of an explosive offense, we hope. No more King Henry to deal with. I would lean Spears. This would probably be my least confident pick, but I just think he's a good player, and I think you should really get your bang for your buck. And I think the receiving numbers should continue to be there. All right, next up on the list. This won't be a sexy pick at all. There will be no sexy picks behind this at all. But give me some Zach Moss. give me some Zach Moss, who, by the way, averaged 4.3 yards per carry last year for Indy. Awesome, really good. Actually, no. Yeah, 4.3 last year, 4.8 the year before. Carved out a nice role in Indy, had some good numbers, and now he goes to the Bengals, which should be considered a better situation, better quarterback, I'll tell you that. This guy gets thrown into the Joe Mixon role. And I don't want to hear about this Chase Brown bullshit. Like, can we stop with the Chase Brown? Can we stop with the Chase Brown? Can we just stop with the Chase Brown? Like, I'm sure Chase Brown will have a couple moments. Anybody go and watch his Senior Bowl? I would take Moss. I would take Moss ahead of Brown. I see Brown as a third down handcuff guy. I think Moss is going to fill the Mixon role. I think that's why they brought him in. Give me some Zach Moss. And if you just go and look, we'll do Brian Robinson next, but if you just go and look at where Moss is being ranked, RB 30 on Fantasy Pros, RB 32 on Yahoo, RB 28 on ESPN, and RB30 on NBC. If you're telling me that Zach Moss is going to be one of the worst starting running backs in fantasy, I would just go higher than that, simply on the situation. The Bengals are my Super Bowl pick. I think if you're giving Zach Moss the Joe Mixon role, and we saw where Mixon finished last year in terms of fantasy. So look, if we just do this, if we just go back and look at where Mixon finished as RB6 last year, if you just put Zach Moss in this role, why can't he be a top 15 running back? Same thing with Gus Edwards. Like I don't know, but that's the way that I would play it. Okay, next, Brian Robinson. Yep. This is the same situation where do I take Eckler? Do I take Robinson? Do I take Eckler? Do I take Robinson? Do I take Eckler? Do I take Robinson? I would lean Robinson. Eckler's the older player. I think Eckler really hit a wall last year. I think the Chargers moved on for a reason. 3.5 yards per carry is not good. His receiving numbers have come down. Big time. Big time. He's about to hit age 29 season. Now, this is the first time where Eckler's splitting a backfield. I would go with the younger player, and I would go with the player that's probably going to get touchdowns. And if you look, it's not like Robinson isn't involved in a passing game. He was. There's no reason why Eckler should take all of this away. 178. By the way, he did this last year and got shot. So we're now a year removed from him being shot. We would think these carry numbers go back up ahead of 200. And I think this offense should be way better. We now add a running quarterback into the mix that should make Robinson more efficient. And I think, again, it's a running quarterback. But if you just look at Jaden Daniels, that's not the type of guy they want to get hit. They don't want Jaden Daniels picking up unnecessary hits. So I think Robinson should be their goal line back. I think she should get a ton of looks. And if you just go back to last year, we'll finish it off with this. We got 3 more guys to do. But if you go back to last year, run pass percentage, Washington, number 1 pass team in the league, 66%. If that number just comes down to a reasonable 59%, or if it just comes back, I don't even need it in the middle of the pack. If it just comes back to a number 8, if we just go to 59% instead of 66, that volume number is coming way up for Robinson. Again, a year removed after he's been shot. He should be fine now from that. I think you want to buy some Brian Robinson, who, again, if we go back to last year, we'll share this tab instead. Brian Robinson finished as RB22, and he missed 2 games. So he finished as RB22 last year, missed 2 games, and now he's being ranked 26 on Fantasy Pros. He's being ranked 27 on Yahoo. Where is he on ESPN? 24 on ESPN and 26 on NBC. So every single publication has him finishing worse than he did last year with missing 2 games and coming off a year where he's now not shot. All right. Should have a better. The offensive line can't be any worse than it was last year. The offensive coordinator should be better. Cliff Kingsbury's a big upgrade over Eric Bieniemy. That part's obvious. You had a running quarterback to the mix. Give me some Brian Robinson. Give me some Brian Robinson at that price. 3 more to do. Next, Nick Chubb. Give me all the Nick Chubb. Yeah, give me all the Nick Chubb. You're a fucking idiot if you pass on this guy. That's all I'm going to say. I will bet any amounts of money that Nick Chubb outscores Jonathan Brooks. Can we make this a bet that Nick Chubb outscores Jonathan Brooks? Can we make this a bet? The disrespect that this guy continues to get every single year is disgusting to me. It's truly disgusting to me. We're talking about a running back that's never, ever, and again, never finish below 5 yards a carry. He is better than Saquon Barkley. Every number that you want to use indicates it. The eyeball test. the number, the efficiency, every number. He's better than Saquon Barkley. If Saquon Barkley had the same injury as him, you'd rank him top 10. If Saquon Barkley had both of his arms and legs amputated, he'd still be a top 10 running back based on the rankings. This guy can't get any fucking respect. It's laughable to where you're putting Nick Chubb. Laughable. 36 on Fantasy Pros. Yahoo, where's he at? 40. He might be the best running back in the league. 36 on ESPN. Where's he at? 41. 41. Behind Darrell? 7 spots below Brooks? That's laughable. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL. Like, you can't find running backs that do this. Pro Bowl. Okay, he got hurt 1 year. And now he sucks. Okay, yeah, sure. Look, if you're going to say that Nick Chubb is going to get ranked in the 40s, I'll have him on every fucking team. You're crazy. Let's just go back to Ford. What did Jerome Ford do? And again, this should be a good offense. Jerome Ford, 4 yards a carry. He had 204 carries, 813 yards. Where did Jerome Ford finish? In terms of fantasy? Where did Jerome Ford finish in terms of fantasy? So Jerome Ford, he finished as RB19. Like, dude, what? Jerome Ford finishes RB19. I don't give a shit if I only get 10 games of Chubb. The games he's in there. Can we just go back to the following year? So the following year, Nick Chubb was RB5. And you're going to rank him in the 40s. Okay. And if we just go to average, he was once again, it's weird, right? So he finishes ahead of Barkley. Yeah, okay. Yep, that we know. But Barkley, because Barkley was the second pick in the draft, and no matter what you fucking say, he's always revered as better, regardless of the fact that it's not actually true. So if we go to Chubb, if he gives you 15 fantasy points a year or a week, and I get him week 7. So let's go to this year. Let's go to last year, 2023. If I just get 15 fantasy points per year, that's RB4 and points per game. That would have been RB4 last year in points per game. What am I missing? I'm not a doctor. I know he got fucking hurt. I understand that. But do you understand? Do you understand how fucking good this guy is? This is 1 month ago. This is 8 months post-surgery. This fucking guy. Look at this guy. You're going to bet against this guy. You're going to fucking bet against this guy. Look at this animal. Look at this fucking animal. He's squatting this. You're saying, oh, he'll never be the same. His knee's torn up. Bullshit. You're on crack. Look at this. Squats 550 pounds 8 months after ACL tear. He's not human. They don't make running backs like that anymore. He's a totally different animal. And you're giving him to me for free. Like, we do get this. He's free. Nick Chubb's free. He's free. Nick Chubb is free. What the fuck is wrong with you people? He should be ranked in the top 20 if he lost his head. If he got his head amputated, he should be a top 20 running back. Okay. All right, we got 2 more to do. The disrespect. And once I'm proven right on this, because I will, because if you're not an idiot, you know what to do. Once I'm proven right on this, I'm going to laugh hysterically, and I'm going to go on the fucking craziest rant, the angriest rant of all time, and I'm going to expose everybody. Give me some fucking Zamir White. And by the way, this is like poor man's Chubb. The man, a.k.a. his name is Zeus. He's taking over for Josh Jacobs this year. And again, this kind of breaks one of my rules. I don't want running backs on bad teams. I'll take a running back on a bad team if he's going to be the number one guy, and that he's going to get 200 carries. He's got no competition. His backfield right now, if you go to the Raiders depth chart, So right now he's got Alexander Madison. He sucks. And Dylan Laub, who is a white running back out of New Hampshire. Go to Alexander Madison last year, who the Vikings cut. 3.9, 3.8. Like, they didn't want anything to do with him. Give me some Zamir White. Who, by the way, I think he looked outstanding in the preseason. He had that game against the Cowboys that I watched. He had that one run. He came out like a fucking firecracker. He was a big-time recruit. Kind of got lost in the shuffle because they have so many guys at Georgia. He split some time, but he was supposed to be the dude at Georgia. His nickname is Zeus. Give me some Zamir White. And by the way, you can have Zamir White for a very reasonable cost. Fantasy Pros has him as RB24. If you're going to be the option of Zamir White or Raheem Mostert, then and then. Then is then, now and now. Then is then, now is now. If you're projecting this forward, I like White. Next tab. So Zamir White on this list is RB24, same spot. On this one, he's RB23, so one spot. And then Matthew Berry, where's he at? 27, so he's actually the lowest. He will outscore that. He's going to outscore that. As long as he's healthy. If he's healthy, he's going to outscore that. And if you just go to his game, I mean, when he actually took over last year, which should only lead into this year. When he took over last year, you going to say no to this? Are you going to say no to this? Because this right here is what it's going to look like over a full season when he's actually the guy. Like we saw it last year. We saw the sneak peek last year. And maybe he gets a couple more touchdowns. We saw the sneak peek last year. Right here. Josh Jacobs isn't on the team anymore. And by the way, this is a Raiders team. They're gonna run the ball. They know they're limited at quarterback. They're gonna play defense and run the ball. You saying no to this? At that price, at RB27 price, you gonna say no to this? Because I'm not. And by the way, Matthew Berry can say whatever he wants about, he was a middle round draft pick, not revered as a big talent. He played at Georgia. Georgia, the only thing they produce is good talent. So give me some Zamir White this year. And oh shit, I think I was sharing the wrong tab. So I don't even know if you saw that. But this is what I was talking about right here. Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm one guy. But are you going to really say no to this right here? Are you going to say no to this right here? Because I'm not. This should only translate into what's going to happen this year. Something to keep in mind. Last one on the list. Swift. Yeah, I'll take all the Georgia guys because they're criminally disrespected, and I don't know why. I just don't know why. Swift was good last year. By the way, rushed for over 1,000 yards, 4.6 yards per carry. He had 5 touchdowns, which he would have scored way more touchdowns if he didn't get sniped in the tush push, which shouldn't be a problem now in Chicago. Did some work in the receiving game. And if you go to fantasy finishes last year, we'll share that one next. If you go to fantasy finishes last year, he finished as, where is he? Oh, I'm in the wrong thing, right? I'm on, hold on. Okay, so if you go to fantasy finishes last year, he finished as RB23. He missed this game and missed this game. So if you give him a healthy season, if you're giving me 10 fantasy points a week, I'll take that, right? if you give him a full fantasy season, he's probably, and then he got sniped on so many fucking tush pushes last year. I know because I had him and I watched a lot of Eagles games. He got sniped on something. Like if he just gets 1 or 2 more touchdowns, he's up here. And by the way, once again, he's being criminally disrespected again. RB25. If you go to Yahoo, RB25. If you go to ESPN, RB22, which 22 is reasonable. And if you go to NBC, 24. Give me the over. Give me the under. That's what I mean. He's in Chicago now. They paid him a lot of money. He is the guy. No more tush push. They paid him a lot of money. He should get a similar workload with over 1,000 yards. He's really efficient as when he gets his receiving looks. This Bears offense should be good. Well, I mean, they're a Madden team, and their offensive line's a little suspect. But if I'm getting the number 1 running back in Chicago with Roshan Johnson sucks, and Khalil Herbert almost didn't make the team. That was a report. Because he was literally fighting for a job. Like, okay, give me Swifty again, who I was proven right last year and will be proven right again this year. So thank you guys for watching. And then the receivers will be the next and last video. And then we will do the Matthew Berry video. Herrick will be back for that. And then check out the ECU series. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace out, Girl Scout.